Right, it's that time of year for clearing the supers, taking the honey crop off for the year. There's nothing else going to be coming in. The next bit of crop coming after this will be the ivy if it comes in, but we can't really rely on it. So there's a couple of different ways. What we have is we need to get these are called the supers, and we need to get all the bees out of these supers back down into the brood box in order to bring these home so we can extract it, you know. So the simplest of probably the whole lot of them is the porter bee escape. So this is your porter bee escape here. It fits into the hole in your crown board this way down with this part up, right? And the idea of it is we can just slide it apart, and inside it here we have little springs. So you can just see the way they work like that here. So what happens is your bees come down here through the hole, they pass out through the springs, and it's a one-way system. They can't get back into it again, like, you know. So they're good. They're a little bit slower than some of the systems on it. Always make sure, just check that your springs, they're not seized up. Some people leave these on all year and it's wrong, so just make sure your springs are working right on it, like, you know. And they literally then they just fit down in the hole of this here, like, you know. So then another one that I use is the this type of clear board as well. Is that then just goes down on top of your crown board. It has 8 little vents out on the other side, and your bees are able to pass out through this. It's a quick system. It's good. It's handy. They're a little bit more bulky to store, but I like them because they clear them a little bit quicker. But you do have a little problem, is that if you leave it on too long, any more than about 12 hours, you can get bees to go back up into it. Not many, but you might have 50 or 60 in the supers. My favourite of the lot of them is the Canadian clear board. Same principle, it goes down like this on top of the crown board. You have these holes here. You have these nipples here about on the far side, about, you know, 1.25 inches or 30 mil nipples. They come down through it. They can cluster on the bottom of it there, but they generally don't go back up. You can get a few go back up, but not many, like, you know. So I always, you know, no matter what I'm doing, is that I always smoke them ever so slightly, and I'm just going to remove the crown board because when I come back, so the crown board has a little bit of brace comb on it, so I just do a little bit of a clear on it, and that gets stored, always not wasting that at all whatsoever. So same thing here, as I just scrape off the propolis. It's a tighter seal, and you're not you don't end up crushing bees then when you put it back down. So, and that's all that sealed. So next thing then is to remove the supers. Try and take them all into one go. It's been an extremely bad year, so supers are not full. These are 2 commercial supers. They usually hold about £30 each full, but there's no full supers this year. So yeah, there's about £50 in the 2 of them, maybe a little bit more. And then before I put that back on again, is that I'm just going to give that a little bit of weight. And they're actually not too bad in stores. They've about 20 £20 of stores and that, so there's not in an immediate panic. I always check because I want to straight away, if they need feed, because we removed everything off them, is get the feed back onto them straight away. So just drop that out of the way. So now I put my crown board on. On top of that, I put my favourite, which is my Canadian clear board. And then, maybe it's a little bit more than 50 in it. And then I put that back on there. So that should be cleared literally in about 5 or 6 hours time. And I always want to make sure, go around your supers, make sure it's leveled up, that there's no holes in it at all whatsoever, because if there's any little bit of a hole or they're not missing out of it, your local bees will find it and they'll clear that out straight away, you know. So let me just put that on, right? Then, so on my records card, where this, I'm just going to put removed £50 of honey. Just keeps it right. I know which is my best queens then as well from the previous year. £50 of honey, and I have removed off that about £50 before, so that's about £100 of honey coming off that particular hive. They're not all like that. That's probably one of the better ones, like, you know. So that would have been spring honey earlier on in the year, and now then the late crop then as well, you know. So before I leave anywhere, is that I generally clean as I'm going along, so that I don't have a job to do in the springtime, and I'm not bringing home any dirt that I have to clean at home, so everything just remains in the apiary. So same thing is that with this here, is that I just scrape up, and I just use a feeder, so it's about the same width of it, and that's it now. Can be stored, that, and I just have to put my hands on it then in the springtime, like, you know. So I'll come back this evening and I'll show you the second process of removing the supers off, and how I clear every single bee out of it, like, you know. But important, make sure everything is sealed and it's sitting on right, because bees are hungry at this time of the year, and if they can find a gap anywhere, they'll be into it. Right, we're back 4 hours later now, and I'm going to remove the supers off this same hive. So on this one here, we'd put the Canadian clear board. So you can see here now that there's about 100 bees or so in this super here. So I just crack it, take it off, and I just put it at an angle like that, and that's down there, right? So that one's fairly full. So the problem here is that I live in a residential estate, and I can't take home any bees with me at all whatsoever. I have a grandkids at home in the garden, and I have also a wife as well. So this is my way of clearing all the remaining bees out of the super. So I use just a leaf blower, probably one of the best tools that I got in it, and I just blow the bees out, right? So, but when I'm doing it, you'll actually see now in a minute, when I blow these out, I use an angle on the leaf blower and I put them up into the air, and not one of them should hit the ground. Is that they should all just do a swirl of about 15 feet and straight back into the hive. So. That's it, completely clear. So other little job that I do then is just before I take it home is I scrape them all clean. You're super stack easy and less gaps. So I just do the first one is just the propolis and any dead bees that might be on the edges. And the same again with this one here. So it leaves it cleaner for going into your extraction as well, and less debris that can end up in your hive or in your extractor. So you can't do this too often around the apiary, because once you start blowing that out, you're blowing the scent out around the place, you know. So same thing again. I have the feeder, and again just clearing it down. It's all my wax for going back for foundation again next year, and I just scrape every single frame that I put away. They all go away clean like that, and that way there I'm starting off fresh in the year, and absolutely no potential of crushing bees at all whatsoever. So just do this here. So I mean, you don't have to do this here. I generally will sometimes do it when I bring it into the shed to extract, but the more I can get done down here is the better for my extraction, and the quicker at home that I can just stack it into the right stacks. And then once you go to stack them away now, they're wasp proof and bee proof because they're all sitting flush. So I'll just put that back into the van. Now, just generally then, any bees that have been left in the super is, before I had the leaf blower, I just used to put them into the back of the van, and then within a few minutes the bees would leave the supers, and they would all fly to the back window of the van, and then just open the back door a couple of times. So we just move this a bit closer. So my Canadian clear board, just want to check this for weight. Yeah, we're going to give it a tiny bit of a feed, not much. I don't want to overfeed them, but we'll see. Generally, if the hive is very strong, you get an awful lot of them here underneath the board like that, with a cluster like that. So if you're not feeding them, just a shake on top of the crown board will do. And generally what I do is just leave it open for a little while, and they all end up going back down into the brood box. So I'm going to put my feeders on. So when I put the feeder on, I generally want to have it whatever way the tilt is. This is a Lyson or a Donegal polystyrene feeder. Just gently put the feeder on. And I put my crown board back over here on the top, and that on. So how much feed am I going to put into it? I'm judging, so I'm going to give them approximately about a gallon of feed. So I generally don't leave the crown board off. I would like, but because bees will be flying into it, but we just expose it slightly here so that you can see it. So I just push the crown board over in that direction, and then your feed in. So fill this about halfway. Also conscious that in a month's time we have the ivy going to come in as well, so I need to leave them enough space. And you can see there she's full of syrup, or half full, so that's enough then just to keep them ticking over, and I'll be judging that on weight. So just need to flick these. Actually give her another tiny little bit of feed in there. So I would expect that they would have all that taken it down, if not within 24 hours, certainly in 2 days, so, and that is set up. And now the next job for that is assess them for mites, and then the treatment on it. So that's that done.